So there's that aspect of like kind of making it about them, the reader, but it's also made general enough that somebody could amplify that and go, 85% of you are doing this wrong. I wasn't. Right. I didn't do this wrong. You need to read this. So that could be that, right? That could be a reason to amplify it.
Well, and I like that because just something that comes to mind is like positioning it like, oh my God, I am so tired of hearing the same thing on every single podcast. You've got the podcast circuit. Everybody goes through it. Everybody has the same canned responses. Please stop. Like when you go to pitch yourself, please, and then read this because now you have a better way to position yourself when you're a guest. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. Well, that covers a lot of that. Now, let's say you've gotten the idea, right? You've validated who's going to share it, or whether it's going to hit in however way that you've been thinking about it. Now you go to edit, and you just put a great Twitter thread on this recently. So I'll share that shortly in the replay. What are you thinking about when you edit? Well, actually, what's your pregame before you sit down to edit?
So when I before I sit down to edit, so I guess one, writing and editing are two discrete activities to me. Like I'll write something, it's basically a brain dump. And I know, I know as I'm typing it, I'm like, this is terrible. I know I'm going to cut this. Like, I know I have been rambling for the past 400 words, but I just need to get it out of my system. And it's always like this. And then I leave it for a couple hours. Ideally, I leave it for like a day, come back to it for the edit. And then I go, oh, there it is. I know. Delete the first 375 words. There's my intro. Right. And then get into the thing. So that's the first part of it. But I also, in the editing process, I really challenge everything I've written with the perspective of, why does anyone want this sentence? Why do they want this sentence? Why do they want this sentence? So it's because I really want what I'm writing to have, I want everything to have meaning. Like I want it to be really economical. And in general, like whenever I write something, I want it to be as short as possible. Like ideally, like some of my blog posts are kind of long, but I think they could have been longer. And if you think about something like 8 counterintuitive marketing tactics, you can imagine maybe that's an 8,000 word blog post. I don't know. Maybe each thing's 1,000 words. I think I managed to get it down in like 3,000. And that's probably the longest thing I've written. But even then I was like, this is too long. And I don't want this. So I do try to make things as short as I can.
And you got to scrutinize. It sounds like you're scrutinizing every single word. Which I don't think happens enough. I want to encourage our audience to ask any questions. Now would be the perfect segue for that. Patrick actually asks, who's your number one enemy or what?
My number one enemy.
Can you please choose a name for the enemy?
My number one enemy is I have food in my teeth. I just felt a poppy seed in my teeth. So my one enemy right now is poppy seeds. I really think I don't know what else to say other than no. I want to have something specific. My enemy is shitty marketing hacks. No, marketing hacks, because I think marketing hacks are shitty. Marketing hacks. That is that's my enemy. I don't think you can hack your way into things. Or I think you can hack your way into things. That's why these things exist. Yeah. But they are a recipe for long-term disaster. Like, you're not building credibility. You're not building goodwill with anybody. You are literally just hacking your way to get to the next step. And I think that's a terrible way to do things.
We've heard on the show a couple times now, Kevin Indig was on a couple weeks ago, and we had Pathlaya on not too long ago. And one of the major through lines through those conversations was, hard is your moat. It has to be hard. You have to do things that other people aren't willing to do, because if not, there's no distinction